Welcome to Just Minding My Business Radio, where we are moving at the speed of God, learning what we didn't know we didn't know. I'm your host, Ida Crawford, so grab a pen and paper and get ready for information that you can use. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Just Minding My Business Radio. I hope you all had an amazing day, and today I am so happy to bring to the show another fellow co-author in the amazing book, Women Inspiring Nations. Coming to the mic is Miss Gayle Clanton, who is self-professed as the grown-up church girl. I can't wait to hear what that's all about. Who has successfully bounced back from some hard blows, including an ugly divorce, financial hardships, and dreams deferred. She started writing about her experiences a few years ago in her blog, Grown Up Church Girl, and soon thereafter created an active Facebook community of women who laugh together and encourage one another on a daily basis. The Facebook group is known as Grown Up Church Girls. And there's a host of things that Miss Gayle does, and I'm going to let her share all of that with us because she can better tell us than me. Well, welcome, Miss Gayle.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm very appreciative of this opportunity to speak to you and your audience, so thank you very much.
You are so welcome. Now, tell me what grown-up church girl is all about.
I sure will. You know, I grew up in church with the belief that if you do the things you're supposed to do, that the outcome is going to be what you expect. So, in other words, if you do good things, if you try to be nice to people, if you try to treat people fairly, then good things are going to happen to you and people are going to treat you fairly. And that's how I grew up. And there were certainly some disappointments along the way. But for the most part, life for me had been pretty predictable, very, very good. And so it was easy to trust God. It was easy to speak highly of God, feel like your connection with God was very tight when things were going well. But when things aren't going well, and when you're praying and it feels as if God's not hearing you, and when you're trying to treat people right but that's not being reciprocated, then you have to kind of, at least for me, I had to kind of take a step back and evaluate my relationship with God. And for me, that's when I grew up. And that's when I became a grown-up church girl who realized that sometimes God says no, and sometimes God says wait, and sometimes it appears that God is not hearing me. But I had to grow up and recognize that He is hearing me, that He does love me, and that He's working things out in my favor. So that's why I call myself a grown-up church girl. I was always a church girl. But when I grew up into the realization that God is who He is, and sometimes His ways, or most times, His ways just aren't my ways, and I had to realize that I had to take a step back and let God do what God does. So that's it. That's, in a nutshell, why I started blogging that way. My blog originally was Diary of a Grown-Up Church Girl because I felt like I was telling my secrets. I was expressing my fears, my doubts, and my disappointments, quite honestly, in the way things were turning out.
I know. Once you come to the realization that you are not in control.
Yep.
It is a rude awakening.
It really is. That was very hard for me because, like I said, things that, I had kind of patterned my life, I guess, and, not really realizing it, but I had pretty much, kind of figured out how things were going to go and things, kind of went the way I expected. But when they did not, and the script was flipped on me, I was like, I had to really step back and figure it out and recognize that I just needed to sit down and take a back seat and let God lead.
Oh, yeah. And the minute we get to that place, oh, my God, life is so much easier, isn't it?
Isn't it? It really is. It really is. When I realized that this was something that was out of my control, that I could not strategize my way around it, and just kind of, lifted it to God and said, okay, it's on you. I still worried. I still, wondered how things were going to turn out, but the load most definitely was lighter, just like you're saying. It got easier.
Oh, yeah, because I remember going through all of that and, thinking that everything was based on me.
Right.
And it has nothing to do with me. I mean, I might have a plan, but God always has a bigger one.
Exactly.
And most of the time, we don't know what that is.
Right. Which is hard, especially if you're used to being in control. It's hard walking in the dark.
It is. It is. So now it's like every day I get up and I say, Lord, what we going to do today?
Yes. Yep.
Because I know I don't always have it together. And what I plan to do a lot of times, sometimes it don't work out that way. And I think most people can relate to that, but a lot of times people don't relate it to God having the plan.
Yes, I think you're right. We sometimes will give up and think that things are out of control, but they're not really. They may be out of our control, but we got to realize that, that God is still in control. And that was a lesson for me to learn.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes, indeed. It's a lesson for all of us.
Yeah.
Once we just relinquish the control, then it's just so much better.
Yep,
it's
I agree.
Much better. Even when it goes to the left, it's like you just don't have that same feeling when you were trying to control it.
Right, because you can figure out, you still know that God is God, so you know that whatever he's doing, whatever it looks like, is going to work out because he's at the helm. But when we're in the driver's seat, I can mess up. So when it's starting to look like it's going wrong, it probably is. So you're right. It was just like that song, Blessed Assurance. It was a blessed assurance to know that even though I didn't quite know how it was going to work out, I knew that it would.
Yes.
I knew that it would.
Well, in addition to the creation of Women Inspiring Nations that you're a part of, I see here you've also done some other publications.
I have, yeah. The very first book that I was a part of was called Black Women in Travel or something like that. I did it so long ago I can't even remember. But I had just taken a trip to Africa, to West Africa, and I contributed a short piece in that book where women were Black women in particular, were trying to encourage other women to travel. And so we all just wrote a piece on our travel experience. And that trip for me was life-changing. It was just amazing to see people that looked like me so far, far away from me, hearing their stories and the similarities and even the differences that their stories were to mine. It was a wonderful experience. So that was the first book that I was a part of. And then the second book is called Our Fathers Which Art in Heaven. And that was a book that this guy pulled together where people were telling stories about their dads who were no longer on earth, who had passed away. So that was a very emotional writing for me because I wrote my piece maybe a year after my father had passed away. So writing it was was an emotional thing for me, just like the piece that I wrote for Women Inspiring Nations. Even though the bulk of my divorce experience is behind me, when I sat down to write it, there were emotions that came up that I was surprised by. You know, there were memories that I thought would no longer hurt, but as I wrote about them and as I shared my truth, it still hurt, and that kind of surprised me. That really surprised me. So it was an experience, and I was really grateful to have a chance just to sit down and put my thoughts out on paper. And there were some edits, because there were some things I was like, nah, I'm not so certain I want to tell that.
I know that's right. And
yeah.
when I heard you speak on the summit, and I started thinking about my bad first marriage.
Mm-hmm.
It was a nightmare.
Yeah.
And I when you talked about it, it was like, you know, I thought I was in that kind of Cinderella kind of thing. I don't know what I thought marriage was, but I thought that if I did everything that my husband wanted me to do, that everything would be just fine.
Right.
And it wasn't.
Yep. I know. That's how the title of my chapter is Once Upon a Time, I Got a Divorce. And I'm piggybacking on what you said about, us having that Cinderella idea of what our lives are going to be, because I really did have a script. It wasn't written down, but in my brain, it was most definitely written down of, what was supposed to happen. I was supposed to graduate from high school, then I was going to go to college, then I was going to meet a man in college, but we weren't going to get married till I was 25, and then we were going to have some children. They were going to all be perfect, and then we were going to have some grandchildren, and then I was going to live happily ever after. That was how it was supposed to go.
Mm-hmm.
It fell off script pretty early on, to be honest, because I went to college, but I did not meet the husband.
Same here. You know, I thought I was the model wife.
Yes.
And then what I learned out of that entire experience was it doesn't matter what you do.
Right.
When the other person is really not there.
Mhm.
It just doesn't matter.
It just doesn't matter. You're right. You are so right.
But
and
it
doesn't
broke me
mean
up,
that.
though. Oh my
What'd
God.
you say? I'm sorry.
I said it broke me up.
Oh, I know. It broke me up. And I talk about that when I speak, because I talk about the fact that it's important, that's why I think this book is so important. It's important that we share our stories. But a lot of times, I think, particularly women in church or women of faith, we don't want to share our stories because we think maybe that makes us look weak, or it makes us look imperfect. Or, like the people came to Job asking when Job was going through all of his trials, certainly you've done something wrong, to deserve this. I think we just have so many preconceived notions of what a church woman is supposed to look like and what a church woman is supposed to be and what she's supposed to represent, so that when a woman in church, and I've seen it happen so many times, when women in church are going through a difficult situation, a lot of times they'll leave.
Mm-hmm.
Because they'll feel like they're imperfect and all the other ladies at the church are perfect. So they'll leave and they'll go and they'll seek help from somebody else, and then when they, quote-unquote, pull themselves together, then they come back. Because we are in church, as I say, we're too perfect to be approachable, and people can't see that there's hurt and there's pain in the pews, and there's a lot of triumph, and there's a lot of people that are overcomers, people that have been through something, and people that are on the other side of their through, and people that can help you, but we, as the body of Christ, need to be open enough that people can see that we've been through something and we're not afraid to talk about it.
Right, exactly. And the thing of it is, those people that are sitting in church, they going through something.
Exactly.
Because as long as we in this flesh, we're going to go through something.
We're going to be going through something, yeah.
We can count on that.
Isn't that the truth? That's the truth.
So everybody is sitting there like, oh, she did this or she did that, and in the same breath they going through something. So I think, I love your grown-up church girls. When I saw that, I just had to chuckle.
It's funny because I started to drop it. Because I was in the midst of creating a new website, and I started to just not include it. But I said, I'm sorry. I was like, I like it. And
I like it too.
Once I kind of explain what it is, most people say, "Oh, okay, now I get it." And
it's the truth. It is the truth. It is just so truth, raw truth.
Yeah. It was how I felt. I felt honestly like I had to grow up, and I was no longer that little girl who thought everything was going to work out the way she had planned.
Mhm. And I think most women, especially that first marriage, because you have no reference.
Right.
You really know nothing about what it means to be married. You think that literally those vows that you say is going to be exactly how it is.
Right. Yep. And for me, my parents stayed together. I have a brother. He's still with his wife. So I did not see marriages fail. I knew, of course, divorced people, but up close and personal, the marriages that I saw, they didn't fail. So I couldn't quite understand, what in the world had I done wrong? Why did my marriage not work? But I had to grow up in the knowledge that, okay, it just didn't. Now, what's your plan B?
Right. And it's so funny you talk about that because my husband, like on his side of the family, they have marriages where they've been together for like 60 years.
Oh, wow.
My mother has been married for, at least 50-something. She probably one of them careers, too, 60 years. And, basically the people do stay together, but it's not without ups and downs.
Right.
It's not. It might appear that to us on the outside, but in closed doors, we know something went down. I've been with my husband now for over 30-something years, my second husband, and I'm here to tell you it was work.
Yeah.
And in my mind, I've left 100 times. Because it is tough. Marriage is not an easy thing.
No.
And, people sometimes go to the left. Sometimes I go to the left. And then we have to constantly work on making sure we come back to a medium place. Now we've been together so long that we know better.
I like that.
But in the beginning, it's a lot of training. It's a lot of learning each other. And, that thing where, for better or for worse, sometimes it's worse. Sometimes it's better. Sometimes you broke. Sometimes you're sick. God knew exactly what he was doing when he put them vows together.
Yeah, about that.
But it is just really, really, I can't wait to read your chapter in the book because I am just with that grown-up church girls. You got me right there.
Well, I'm glad. I appreciate it. You have to let me know what you think.
Oh yeah. Well, it was definitely great. So, what else have you been doing? I see you do some coaching.
With the Facebook group. Well, I guess it started it was November of 2016 is when I got the the itch to speak. And so I sponsored my first seminar, which was just a 2-hour event, January of last year. And I took on the theme of sparkling because I collected jewelry. All the ladies that came bought jewelry, and we donated the jewelry to a Dress for Success depot place in the D.C. area. You know, that's one of the places where women who are, for whatever reason, been kind of removed from society and they're ready to get back into the workforce, they can go to Dress for Success and get clothing and jewelry and accessories to interview with and to help them get started in the workplace.
Mm-hmm.
So we collected jewelry at this event, and we ended up calling it the Sparkle event because, you know, jewelry sparkles. And we based it on the scripture in Matthew that talks about letting your light so shine so that men will see your good works and glorify God. So we talked about our light shining so brightly that we sparkle. It took off, so we kept that theme throughout the year. We made 2017 the year of the sparkle. So in September, I hosted a Sparkle conference, and it was an all-day event here in Upper Marlboro, Maryland. And I had speakers come who were all women who had gone through very difficult situations, and it just so happened that they were going through the situations while sitting in the church pew, and nobody knew what they were going through. So I had one lady come who was on crack for 20 years, but in church every Sunday. I had somebody come who had was very promiscuous and had an eating disorder. Somebody came that talked about abuse, physical and sexual abuse in her home, and I talked about having gone through the difficulties of a divorce. And it was interesting that we all were sitting in the pew with nobody else to really talk to. Perhaps part of that was self-imposed, you know, but there's a lot of pain in the pew, and that's what we wanted people to understand. So that was an all-day event. It was very well received. I was very, very happy with it. So now our plan is to do it every year. And also what we'd like to do is take it on the road so that if there's a church group or a women's group that wants to have an event, rather than them have to pull the pieces together themselves, we're calling it the Sparkle Tour, and this same group of women would come to these different events and basically put on the program. So that's another thing that takes up a lot of my time and energy, but I love it because I feel it's a wonderful way to get a message out. It's the same kinds of stories, I think, that are included in our book, Women Inspiring Nations, but it's basically just, sharing in another way.
And I think that's definitely needed. And you're definitely going to have to keep me in the loop.
Okay,
when
definitely,
you have
I
the
will.
next one, because it is so many women in the pew, that need to be able to get it out. Just get it out.
Mhm. Yep. And we had fun with it. It was not a downer by any means. We laughed, we shared, we ate, because that's a big part of what I try to do in our Facebook group and in the things that I write about. I don't want to be, number one, preaching all the time, and I don't want to feel like I'm, always talking about hard, bad, difficult times. Because as church girls, we run the gamut. We like to dance, we like to sing, we like to eat, we like to joke, we like to go out. I try to speak to the whole person and not just, preach at people. So at the conference, we played games. We played games so that people could get to know one another. We played our own version of Name That Tune. We just had a good time. It was a fun day. And so even though some of our topics were heavy, we had a comedian come. It was interspersed with some lighthearted things too, so that when people left, they just felt like they had a good time.
Yes, that sounds like a beautiful time. I'm like, sorry I missed it. So now I know
I'll have
Gayle.
to let you know this year.
Cheryl has connected another sister.
Exactly.
Yes, indeed. Well, how can our audience stay in contact with you?
Okay, well, I do have a website, and it is my name, so it's Gayle Clanton, CLANTON.com, and they can also email me at Gayle@GayleClanton.com, and I'm on Facebook as Gayle Clanton, and then also the Facebook group that I've been talking about is Grown Up Church Girls, and we welcome all, to join us there. We post every day. I post, but then some of the other ladies post motivational, sayings, jokes. We post questions a couple of times a week to try to get participation from everybody. So it's a fun place to be if you're online. So it's Grown Up Church Girls on Facebook.
All right, and make sure you buy our book, because there's going to be some awesome stuff in this book.
That's the truth. The truth.
I mean, it is going to be loaded. Have you started reading it yet, Gayle?
I have. It is really, really good. I mean, I knew it would be, but I have just honestly been blown away. The stories are deep, and they are mixed in. There's a little bit of humor in some of them, and I think all the authors have been very transparent in telling our stories, but then also in explaining how we got on our other side of through. So there are lessons in here. There are tips that people can use that are going through difficult situations themselves. So just like Cheryl was saying during our teleconference, I think people are going to want to buy one book for themselves, and then they're going to want to buy a book for a friend, because it's the perfect gift.
Mm-hmm.
It's the perfect gift. 25 stories from women all over the country. It's an awesome collection, and I'm just so happy to be a part of it, and I know you are too.
Oh yes, I am so blessed and highly favored right now. I have been in pinching myself the whole time.
Yeah.
Is this really happening? And all the amazing women that I've, met, and we still have more fun to come.
I know. You're right. This is just the beginning. I can feel that this is just the beginning. I'm excited.
I'm excited,
new book,
too.
New year. We got a lot of stuff to look forward to.
Yes,
we
do. Yes, we do. Well, I am so grateful that you took the time out to chat with me and talk to me about the grown-up church girl that I just love.
Well, you have to join our group. I'm going to send you an invite.
Yes, I will definitely do that. And once again, so that everybody can make sure they get in contact with you, can you give us your contact information again?
Sure, thank you. My website is Gayle, Gail, Clanton, Clanton. No spaces, no dots or anything. GayleClanton.com. And I can be reached via email at Gayle@GayleClanton.com. And I can be reached by phone at 202-669-6048.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you again, Gayle. And I know our audience is just going to love what we did, everything that you've shared. I'm getting all tongue-tied now. I'm so And definitely go out and buy the book.
Yes, indeed.
Women Inspiring Nations, and this book is really going to move you to the next level, I guarantee it.
Yeah, I believe that as well. Thank you, Ida. I really appreciate this opportunity. Thank you very much.
Thank you, and you enjoy the rest of your day.
You too.
This show is brought to you by the amazing women of A Sister Circle Empowerment Network, ASIN LLC, where we are never in competition, but always in collaboration. And our valuable sponsors, Prodigy Accounting Service, Next Generation Accounting to get you where you need to be. Contact them at prodigyaCCT1@yahoo.com or online at www.fli-inc.com. Prodigy Accounting Service, Next Generation Accounting to get you where you need to be. Contact them at prodigyaCCT1@yahoo.com or online at www.fli-inc.com. Ready to plan for your retirement? Contact Game Plan for Retirement. Call 410-902-0464 and schedule a free consultation. That's Game Plan for Retirement, 410-902-0464. Interested in becoming a sponsor for Just Minding My Business 24/7 radio? Or would you like to know what a Sister Circle Empowerment Network, ASIN LLC, is all about? Contact us today at asistercircle@gmail.com and visit our website at asistercircle.org. That's ASISTAS circle.org. Contact us today at asistercircle@gmail.com and visit our website at asistercircle.org. That's ASISTAS circle.org. Voiceovers for A Sister Circle Empowerment Network provided by Ruth Haskins, voiceover actor. To fulfill your professional voiceover needs or to receive her current professional demo, contact Ruth at 443-620-4115.
Thank you for tuning in to Just Minding My Business Radio. I'm your host, Ida Crawford. We hope you enjoyed the show and appreciate you stopping by. Many blessings to you and yours.